right, folks, welcome back. We're doing a little basketball heavy action yet again. Tapping back into college basketball and talking a little AU athletics. We got one of our AU insiders, Mr. Nick Papadis, who does stuff for AU athletics. Yes?
Just a little bit of stuff. Just sat courtside against Bucknell the other day to run some stats. So got a good view of that game.
All right. And he brought up the Bucknell game. We'll talk a little bit about that. It was the home finale for the American Eagles, and it was an interesting game. It was kind of close throughout. AU led early, but Bucknell really got their offense going late in the first half. Got out to around like a 5 or 6 point lead for much of the second half, and AU never really was able to come back. So, Nick, what was your initial reactions to Saturday's game?
Well, honestly, I think the refs were kind of a little foul heavy in that game. They called Schoaf on a lot of fouls in the first half, which forced him to have to sit a lot of the game playing Marko Vasic. The great Marko Vasic. Without Schoaf, you limit your shooting options a little bit. Vasic can shoot, but just not quite as well as John Schoaf.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, Schoaf did shoot poorly, though. But you also get guys in the game like Jalen Ray, who's a very good three-point shooter. We also had some Charlie Jones action. But
overall, I think we really suffered from the field. We only shot, I believe, 34% from the field, somewhere in that range. And just poor shooting from a team who's based so much around the shot can really cost you a game.
Well, I mean, everyone's based on the shot.
So our offense, though, we don't take it to the hole as much as some teams.
Yeah, and, we talked about shooting 34%. We're actually, I don't know what we average, but we're actually, I believe we were second in the nation going into Saturday's game, overall field goal percentage. But Dylan, we were at the game, and it just seemed like throughout the game the Eagles really couldn't get their shots going. Really anybody. They only had one scorer in double figures, our good friend Jesse Reed. And so what's your take?
Yeah, no, that's definitely where the Eagles are struggling this Saturday. Their shots just weren't falling. I mean, they were hitting the backboard, they were hitting the rim, which, I mean, you like to see. They're not airballing them, but it's just nothing was hitting, and you could clearly tell that Bucknell picked up on that early, and they gave them that shot. I mean, there was times where they would be 3 to 4 feet off of the AU offensive guys, just giving them the open three. Sometimes we took it and made it, but a lot of times our guys just didn't even take the shot just because we had been so cold from the field. What I actually would have liked to have seen them do more would have been get it down to Wroblewski a little bit more. I think out of our first 10 points that we scored, I think Wroblewski probably scored about 6 of them. And a lot of those were just kind of like hooks with his left hand. So I would have liked to have seen them dish it down a little bit more. I know that's not who we are as a team. Like Nick said, we definitely are more of a just shot-based team, just kind of pull up. We hit a lot of threes usually. But when that wasn't working for us, I feel like you need to adjust a little bit. And they didn't really try to adjust that much. I felt like they were still trying to look for that open shot. And we're taking the open shots, but that's because Bucknell was giving it to us because we weren't making them. So I feel like at that point we could have adapted a little bit, and I mean obviously it didn't work out in the end, but that shot just was not falling for us all day.
Yeah, Coach Cho with some hard-nosed analysis there. You brought up feeding Wroblewski more. He didn't even have that many shots overall in the game, and when he's your sole post guy, because we don't really have our starting four is Kyle Kager, and he barely played.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he also was in a little bit of foul trouble.
Yeah,
but not as much.
He really didn't play at all in the second half, and I don't understand why. I mean, he is the starter, but he only played 7 or 8 minutes. But anyways, so yes, Saturday was the final day in Patriot League action. AU had a chance to win the Patriot League title outright, or would have won in a tiebreaker had Boston lost. Boston won and we lost, so ultimately it was all for naught. So we are the second seed in Patriot League tournament. Play kicks off on Monday night. AU will play on Wednesday night, the winner of the Lafayette Loyola game. Now, the Patriot League tournament, where it's all home seed games, the home seed hosts, generally, more times than not, you get the 1 seed is historically a lock to get into the finals. and the second seed is generally is there as well. Nick, do you think we've got a good chance of winning the Patriot League tournament and possibly getting our first, as I'm stumbling over words, our first NCAA tournament bid in several years?
I think we do have a reasonable shot for the fact if it does go to Boston, if we play Boston in the finals, which is, as you said, highly likely, we'll have a decent shot against them. We beat them pretty significantly at home.
Yeah.
And then when we were on the road in Boston, we played a very close game, which we gave up late in the second half. And though they won by a fairly good margin, they did not dominate that game.
Yeah, well, they definitely dominated the second half because there was a significant stretch early in the second half where AU didn't get any points. But Dylan, AU started off very hot, 10-0, first time ever in conference play to start off. They were in first place, and then they sputtered down the stretch. They finished 3-5, still tied a record for 13 Patriot League conference wins. But is that kind of inconsistent finish to the year? Could that possibly signify a potential trouble in the Patriot League tournament?
I think it is going to show a little bit of trouble that we have right here. I mean, 10-0 started out great. Like Nick said, we beat BU by 30 points here. So if we make it past our first game, then we're going to have to go back up to BU. They're at home. I don't know. Maybe our guys are tired. Their shots aren't falling. I'm not sure what it is, but they definitely just don't look as strong as they did at the beginning of the season. So I'm not even afraid about playing BU and possibly making it into the tournament. I'm more afraid of that first game. I think if they roll well in that first game, they get on to a fast start, they continue that, they're hitting shots, they're going to carry that momentum into the BU game. If they sputter a lot in that game and kind of eke out like a 1 or 2 point victory, at that point I'm kind of scared what's going to happen against BU. It'll probably be a close game still, but I'm just not sure what's going to happen.
All right, good insight as always, guys.